here, and tonight we are going to take a look at a just brutally awful knife. At least I hope so. Actually, well, a soliloquy. I have been a little bit disappointed lately with my terrible knives delivery service. As many of you know, I have signed up because I got weird life priorities, we'll put it that way. I signed up for a service wherein they send me a knife every month. I pay $17.95 for whatever is in this box, which is not a good thing to do. You should not sign up for whatever service this happens to be. But I pay this amount of money every month, and they send me something just awful. And I'm kind of looking forward to, each month seeing what bit of terrible they give me. But the problem is, lately I've been a little disappointed because, well, the last couple of knives haven't been that bad. Last month, as I recall, we had the Elk Force, which is, actually not all that terrible, all told, all things considered. I think this is not a great knife. It's not one I recommend, but it's not a bad one either. So, and so I'm really hoping that we return to just abject awfulness here, that I pick this guy out of the box and I just die laughing of pain at the awfulness of this knife. And so I'm really, really hoping that there's going to be some ugly. Need to turn one thing off real quick to avoid low-frequency rumbles. Hold on, jackass loading. Unfortunately, the heat in the house, a little bit loud on occasion. And I've been working on the review video lately. This little Rike guy has a weirdly good action after I did a little bit of disassembly. This is really nice in terms of action. It's got some other issues, but oh my god, there's some impressiveness there. This one's a little more exciting though. This right here is the Spyderco Chaparral FRN model. As many of you may recall, the Chaparral is a great Spyderco knife. And part of the reason it is so great is because of the stock thickness. This thing is so slicey. It's absolutely completely off the hook, if you will. I'm not quite sure what the hook is, but I can guarantee you this is right off of it. So I'm very interested to see how the FRN model compares. And then my buddy Ari is actually going to send me a Raffia Noble Chaparral as a point of comparison here. Sort of the most down-market Chaparral, if you will, in terms of overall looks, coupled with the tuxedo of chaparrals. And then finally, two knives that are maybe a little bit out of character for the channel. I mean, I always joke about knives being big and murdery. Knives that are just like, oh my god, incredibly huge. Knives like, for instance, the ZTO 452 or the Alamic Swish, although I'm actually not going to show the handle of this guy off because I want to save that for a different video. But I do now own an Alamic Swish. But recently, some knives have come across my table that are a little bit, well, they're going the extra mile there in terms of hugeness and murderiosity. They are just completely out of line and make even me a little bit uncomfortable. Let's just be honest here. And so right now, I'd like to show you. Check this out. Check this out right here. Oh, yeah. This is the 0 Hour knife. I'm going to do a quick Delica size comparison here real quick, if I can find my Delica. This is an absolutely tiny freaking knife. It is actually a flipper. It is actually S35VN. It is absolutely and totally freaking ridiculous. Not much of a flipper, that's for damn sure. But it is kind of hilarious. And then, though, I know this is a little bit on the low budget side. It's maybe it's a little big, a little murdery for some people. I know that I wouldn't feel comfortable taking this guy out in the lunchroom. That's for damn sure. But so maybe you need. Hey, I got it to flip that time. What did I do differently? Maybe I used some wrist, or did it just like break in or something? It must be the wrist thing. Anyway, sorry about that. But some people want a slightly dressier version. And so my buddy Ian over at Gearology, another YouTube channel, you should check him out, formerly known as Tekken Tools, sent me something that's, well, even more completely out of line. And that's this little guy right here. Oh, yeah. That's right. This is the Rike Hummingbird. I'm sorry, that's Rike. This is one heck of a gigantic freaking piece compared to the Spyderco Delica. Holy crap, is this thing big. In fact, you can fit this guy entirely within the handle of the Spyderco Delica on every dimension, but it has a cute little pocket clip, which is absolutely adorable. It actually does look vaguely like a hummingbird, which I have to give it credit for. It is using Damas steel, which you can see is nicely polished here. 100%. This is a kind of impressive little piece. If you're looking for a super high-end, super tiny knife, this is a decent choice. And, you know, other knives in the size range, things like the Spyderco Man Bug here. This was sent to me by my buddy Sid. And a bunch of other stuff out there. But, yeah, so anyways, I'm taking huge, gigantic freaking knives to the next level. This one actually makes my hands feel normally sized for a change. So that's good. But anyways, okay, I digress. I have shown you some really neat knives. I got some other fun stuff coming up, too. No doubt, 100%, but I know where you're all here. So, I have a life pro tip for you guys. If you are, say, for instance, doing a live stream, maybe you have 336 people in the room, and you're trying to pull a box towards you dramatically, it's a good idea to stop the box's movement. Generally speaking, when the box gets here, you need to stop it, rather than throwing it off the table that direction. So, anyways, back at the ranch, yeah. Good thing you guys aren't expecting me to be a brilliant man. Given that this guy has already tried to escape the shaming it is about to receive once, I think it's about time that we end its misery, and we pop this guy open. I have not seen this knife. I had the fiancé transfer it into this box, which is already pre-labeled, and let's see what we got here. Ready? Here we go. 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 Bam! Holy good God, what the hell? Okay. There are about a bazillion different knives I could picture coming out of this box right here. This is none of those knives. Okay, so I gotta. Okay, immediately my heart and my mind goes to this artwork, which I gotta say is not unattractive. It's got a nice First Nation sort of feel to it. Maybe a little bit of a Navajo inspired. Yeah, I'd say maybe Navajo, some kind of American Southwest Indian tribe look. Maybe a little appropriation, but you know what? Well, they're Chinese, so they don't know anyways. So it's got a bit of an American Southwest thing going on. Next thing I've got to say is that this is a hidden hardware knife. That just occurred to me. There is not a single piece of hardware on this freaking knife that I can see. It must be the case that they just epoxied these freaking scales onto this knife in such a way that they... Okay. So already we're rocking this. I am not canceling after that little bit of joy. That's for damn sure. So then we go on to this little area here where we have ourselves a nice little set of beads. One that looks to be plastic imitating turquoise. Again, we're keeping up this Navajo sort of view. Down here we are. We have our crystal ball. So if we look into the future, into our little crystal ball here, I see a lot more crappy knives in my future there. And then I don't know what the red ball is here, but I think that means somebody got murdered in a Minority Report, so that's not a good idea. It's a movie, by the way. But yeah, so okay. They're rocking this so far. This is a thing. Now we got to pop this guy open. And the blade shape on this, I'm sure, is going to be absolutely wonderful. So, ready? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, Frankie Bird, good to see you. Come on, I'm scared now. I'm really not sure whether this is totally unattractive or not. Yeah, I'm leaning towards this is totally unattractive. But in the grand scheme of things, this is not so bad. Because, okay, first off, we got to talk a little bit about the Damascus here. We've had two Damascus blades on the table already today. Frankie and Bert are liking the blade. Well, boy, do I have a knife heading your way next, you gems. But and the action's not bad, I gotta say, which is good because it's freaking glued shut, so you better enjoy that action. But okay, so we've got this little Damascus steel sort of situation going on here. But I'd like to let's zoom in a little bit. Pardon the trouble here. I am going to move us into the macro mode. Come on. And let's take a look-see here at this beautiful Damascus. So what we can actually see is going on here is that this is not actually pattern welded steel. We can see that very clearly in a variety of ways. The biggest of those ways is that you see how the pattern stops right on the spine of the knife there? It's not like a contiguous pattern. Real Damascus doesn't get wide and then get narrow on the other side there. It's not related in any way to the topography of the knife. It's just that they have etched this steel to look like it is Damascus-y. And another good way to look at this is, let's see here. Let's bust out the Millet Knives Torrent in Damasteel. Actually, is this... yeah, this will show it a little better. So if we look at the back of this knife here... yeah, right there. Look at the flipper tab. What you can see here is that even on the unfinished parts of the knife, there's evidence of the Damascus pattern welding process. This is a constant thing. Anywhere that they have etched, there is going to be Damascus. However, in this case, that is not the case. If we look at the back of the knife here, all we see is that they have apparently beaten the crap out of it with a gym sock full of pottery shards, and then that removed some of the stonewash here. If we look, for instance, at the blade tang, yeah, we'll look at the flipper tab. Yeah, there is absolutely zero sign of pattern welding, even when the flipper tab, the black wash is removed. So this is not actually Damascus steel. That said, a lot of people probably won't care. So, yeah. There you go. That's just that's an interesting little detail here. I'd also like to zoom in so you can see just how printed on this whatever this happens to be. Oh, it's a thing 100%. Like, is it inlaid into the plastic? I'm not 100% sure. This is a little bit nuts. So yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and pull the macro lens here. Oh, man, this is like the best $5 I've ever freaking spent. So, okay, we've dealt with the steel here. We got to talk about the blade shape a little bit. They're clearly doing a Persian-inspired knife, which is great because, oh, yeah, pottery shards just like the Navajo pottery. Maybe they use genuine Navajo pottery shards to beat the crap out of the spine of this blade. I just don't know. Oh, good God, did I say gem? I hope I did not just say gem. This is not a gem. Nope, not even a little bit. But I am seeing some other details that may be worth commenting here. Let's take a look at this little region down here. So you can see here that they have not one, but two different things that could be a good sharpening choil. They have this little area here that could make a sharpening choil if they moved it just a little bit further. And then they have this area here, which is a finger choil, which could also have been used as a sharpening choil. They have managed to screw up not just one, but two independent sharpening choils. This is really, really impressive, I have to say. That is a level of, like, it's not just that they don't give a crap, it's that they are evading giving a crap. Like, here is giving a crap and here is USA. By the way, of course, we have to give credit. This is an USA design. Our good friend USA is at it again. He has spent some good time, quality time in the Southwestern USA. And yeah, that's pretty impressive. It is, of course, handcrafted in China, which is pretty excellent as well. And oh, man, this is just a joy. So USA managed to botch not one but two sharpening choils, resulting in both incomplete sharpening on the blade, as well as heel on the second sharpening choil here, and oy. Okay, the next question, will it cut? That's a good one. Let's figure this out. I have myself a nice set of Rhodia dot paper here. Okay. That portion... You know, this is actually not as bad as you'd think. The paper is kind of ripped, and you can hear it's louder than usual because these etched ridges here are kind of interacting with the paper, but it does actually cut here. What is the steel, people are asking? Is it stainless or carbon? Well, it's saying stainless steel on here, but it's taken a pretty good etch. So I'm assuming that well, I have no idea what kind of steel this is. One thing I would love to do is have an ability to like do spectrographic testing and whatnot. A spectrograph, gas chromatograph, whatever the heck it is. Either way, it's saying stainless steel. That's not saying a whole lot, mind you, but it's definitely saying something. That's for damn sure. A couple of other just joys that I want to point out here. Let's see here. Is the tip is concealed? Actually, I keep trying to find things that are problematic with it. And aside from the whole milieu being a little bit off, they're doing things mostly okay. Here they've left this portion unsharpened such that it won't cut you open. They've taken a page out of Rayot's book, which is really disturbing because Rayot shouldn't be doing this one either. But, yeah. Oh, there's no pocket clip. Guys, I just realized that. That one just kind of whoop right under the radar for me. This is a knife that has no pocket clip at all, which is just going to be pretty excellent. Somebody's asking if it is assisted. Oh, yes, it is. Ow, you little bastard. Did you just get me? No, okay. I'm not bleeding. Little bastard. It's got a heck of a little assist spring in there. Action's good. But, yeah, oi, 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 oi. One thing I will highlight here, I'd like to point out right there. This is a detent ramp. Take a look at that. Seriously, this is a little ramp whose only purpose is to allow the detent ball, or in this case, potentially detent rod, to slide up onto the knife more readily, which makes it more of a pleasure to close. This is something that I have beaten up on $400, $500, $600, $700 knives on a regular basis for not including. So I gotta say, that I gotta give USA credit for that one. That's not so bad. The lockup on this guy, oh, let's see here. The lockup appears to be... So the lockup is weird in that the lock face is way deep inside this knife. Like, you can see here the lock bar kind of dips down. The lockup, though, appears to be about 10%, which is not bad. Here, let's open it gently, gingerly here. Pardon me. Looks like... Yeah, it looks like about 10% again. I can live with that. That's not so bad. Let's do a safety test here. Actually, no, hold on. This'll just tear a hole in my freaking table. Safety's fine. It's okay there. They have managed to thwart my ability to disassemble this knife by making the whole thing glued together. Okay, look at this. This is a joy. Check this out. Right on the inside of the knife, right there. See that? That is where the glue of this handle has bled through into the interior space. So that does confirm my initial suspicion that this handle is entirely glued on, which is absolutely fine. With a hammer and enough persistence, I could disassemble it. That's probably true. I'm going to try this very briefly, because I can always reassemble this knife, and if I don't, then, well, I'm not quite sure I give a crap. Let's see what we can do here. $1,000 in donations and it'll be my wedding knife. That's not necessarily the way I see the world going. Come on. This is not going so hot. Nick, how G&G yourself? Well, there was this knife. Okay. I'm feeling things lifting. Using right now, by the way, the Rat Bastard Enigma pry tool here, which is an excellent choice for disassembling terrible knives, and frankly, for disassembling pretty much any other damn thing. Big fan of it as a pry tool. It's no Medford, but it's something. Sorry, that's below the belt. Okay, this is serious. This is like absolutely serious. Like, I'm not... This is like serious. Freaking Hadfoot serious. Come on. Are you coming? You know, this knife may have defeated me. It is held together by some ancient magic that I cannot fathom. Or more likely, just a crap ton of epoxy. Let's try the other side and see if we get a better shot that way. Oh, hold on. You hear that? Probably not. I think I can do this. Oh, now it's just pressing the liner up. Actually, that could be a good entree. Nope. That's the plastic giving way. Alrighty, guys. I'm, oh, you can see little stress marks on this. Frankly, I would be stressed too in this knife's position. The scale is entirely made of red Loctite. Oh my God. Speaking of ancient curses, yes, that could be it. But, I mean, oh, and I do have to highlight one thing that you are not feeling, but that you absolutely should be feeling is this. The weight of this knife is coming in at 5.08 ounces, and it's coming in at, oh, by the way, a very exciting new piece of equipment. I got a real ruler. Check it out, guys. All right. Looks like the blade length is coming in at like 3.25. So it's a little heavy. And of course, this is Master's Collection, by the way. I don't know if I highlighted that. Master's Collection sounds a little bit weird. It's got sort of a mix of a 50 Shades of Grey vibe as well as a, like, a Sith Lord sort of thing. Like, I'm picturing Darth Vader handing this to his, handing it, although the script is definitely pushing me 50 Shades. But yeah, like handing it to the Emperor, like, you know, here is your Navajo knife, my master. Like, I think that's what they're going for there. Mustair, yeah, that could be. It's like USA is the designer and Mustair is the owner of it. But you know, again, they've blown me away here. After the Elk Force last time, which really was out of left field here, a knife that wasn't actually that terrible, although it kind of was. And then this guy, which is, well, I don't know what to do with it, but by God, it's there. They have absolutely kept me as a subscriber here. At least it's going to be weird. At least it's going to be interesting. Oh, hold on. Side. And then they sand it again, or they laser it or something. Oh, my God, this Damascus is just a thing. Oh, man. Okay, I got to try this. Come here, sandpaper. What am I doing here? I don't want to, reduce the value, so I'm going to hit a non-crucial surface here. Just see. It's not actually removing all that much, so it's not just like painted on there. Oy, 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 oy. Yeah, no longer mint, indeed. If anybody wants this knife minty fresh, it does fire very nicely, I gotta say. Not exactly fall shutty. It's borderline fall openy. But you've got your nice little lanyard here, I mean, which I'm sure is made of genuine something that resembles leather. And then complete with the little safety thing. Oh, man. This is a thing, 100%. That's, okay. There we go. That's our crappy knife of the month. This is not a great knife, absolutely 100%. I say that for a couple of reasons. The steel on it is, well, CPM LOL. We have no idea what this steel is, but it is certainly something or another. The etching being fake is a little bit interesting, although actually I recently came across a jeweler who had in his case a knife that was, a high-end, master, well, not master collection, but some sort of, perfect jewel cutlery thing from Pakistan with a fake Damascus on there. At which point, yeah. But that's not super impressive. This assembly is going to be entertaining. Actually, let me see if I can get a little bit of oil in there. People are now speculating as to the use for these beads. I am very notedly not. Although coupled with the Masters Collection thing, they are really just adding to the... All they need here is the Northwoods Knives symbol, and I think you've really got something going for you there. But, sorry. Anyways, hashtag innuendo. But, and with the little bit of oil, it's firing a little bit better. But, and then good Lord, look how freaking proud this lock bar... Like, I haven't actually gripped it particularly to cut. The lock bar being like super freaking proud of this thing. Like, holy crap, this thing is more proud than Bill Gates' father. That's insane. Actually, I don't know how his father was. Maybe he was a jackass. But yeah, that's completely nuts. Yeah, thank you for stating what I was joking about there, chat. Appreciate it. 3CR13. Oh, it could well be. It's the only proud aspect of this knife, and they do have a considerable swedge. It does get a lot thinner up at the top here. Oy, freaking yoy, guys. Now people are making some pretty awful jokes. Okay, so yeah, there you go. That's your terrible knife of the month. That's not that terrible, but it's still pretty impressive. Yeah. Oy, 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 oy. Lots of pride in this life, lots of pride and nothing else. So given that we've finished this, Ask the Nick. Guys got any questions? I'm around. And actually, while you're asking that, I am going to drink some water, such that the old voice box doesn't come splattering on the freaking table here. Like, I would love to tour a factory making these terrible freaking knives and just see what corners they're cutting. Like, I'd have to go under an assumed identity or something, make sure that they, can't find me, and I'd need to speak Chinese and be 12. But, still, that'd be pretty impressive. Yeah, factory, okay, good point. Shop of some variety. Birdshot IV asks, do you want to buy the Wee Knives Balaenoptera? Ay, 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 ay. Speaking of a little bit of questionable punishment, that knife got a little bit of questionable punishment here this morning. But that's okay. It deserved every bit of it, and I don't think it liked it. So that of course, being the main difference here. Let's see here. Does the grease I use for maintaining run around $22? There is a very expensive grease that you can use, nano grease, and it's fine. It works okay. It smells a little bit like death. Honestly, grease is the area of my my maintenance kit that I'm least happy with. I'd like to find a better approach. And so if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know down in the comments there. Benchmade Adamus is a big, beefy freaking beast of a knife that I am absolutely 100% planning to review. In fact, it's almost a little bit of a problem that I've never done so. I need to at one point in time or another. So that's pretty impressive. Let's see here. Yeah, the Adamus needs to happen here. This or the Balaenoptera. Well, the thing is, neither of these knives have a pocket clip that's worth a goddamn, which is important. Neither of these are going to be terribly comfortable in the hand, although actually I think ergonomically speaking, this one wins because it is in fact contoured plastic rather than G10 or titanium. Steel-wise, the Wee's got it by a mile. Everything from this point forward, this is a piece of crap. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Everything from this point forward, this is a piece of crap. But the Balaenoptera wins on this end of things. But, yeah. It's a harder fight than it needs to be. He'd see it as a neck knife. Yeah, just hang it like this and then just, oh, God. I would need to have also like a bolo tie with some turquoise involved. Because I feel like that would be pretty excellent. Do people not like internal stop pins? There are some people that Dave Glahn is asking this question. Some people are not a big fan. So, for instance, the Grimsmo Norseman is an example of a knife with an internal stop pin here. You can see as we look at the knife here that all throughout this, there is, these are standoffs, obviously, but there is no stop pin that's out and in the path of the blade. Unlike, for instance, on this knife where there's the Spyderco sleeve buoy. Nice bird. This is Spyderco sleeve buoy, which has a little stop pin on the outside, so the blade hits that and stops. On the Norseman, on the other hand, this is fully internal. And so the problem with an internal stop pin, although I don't think it's a huge problem, it's just you need to be a little bit quicker on the maintenance for it. Because if pocket lint, for instance, gathers in there, there's a possibility that will get kind of compacted in there, and your knife will fail to lock up. And so if you are in grimy, muddy conditions, the very last thing you want is a knife that's on bearings with an internal stop pin. But in everyday life, I don't see that as being any sort of a problem. So, yeah, there you go. That's a great question there. Let's see here. Do I have any gravity knives? According to New York City, every knife I own is a gravity knife. I joke, but I really shouldn't because it's a terrible law that gets a lot of people who don't need to be locked up. But there are many people who consider a gravity knife to be any knife where you can grab the blade and open it like so. It's very easy on a knife like this with a relatively weak detent as well as a very heavy handle. But you know, if you are skilled or an NYPD officer, you can do that with pretty much any knife out there. There were relatively few that do not go that route. Gravity knife originally meant something very different, though. I believe it meant a knife where if you all you need to do is kind of shake the knife and it'll open up. So, like, I think this might be a gravity knife where I'm not touching the flipper tab or anything, but I'm going to try and... Yeah, there you go, gravity knife. And usually that's a function of a weak detent and whatnot. These were banned because some ethnic group or another was using them and racists got scared, and therefore we banned their knives because we didn't want to ban the people because, well... cowardice is deeply innate in all of that. But anyways, that's what a gravity knife originally was, but these days the law has been perverted such that any knife in the hands of somebody who really, really wants to arrest you is a gravity knife in some places. Knife Rights actually is a company, well, I guess they probably are a company, but they're a charity, first and foremost, is... Knife Rights is a company that is trying very, very hard to stop this law in New York. Rhetoric going on here regarding gravity. You know, I feel like of all of the things that scientists are regularly arguing are a thing in the world, gravity is pretty uncontroversial. I mean, here, I'll go ahead and demonstrate it. That happened. That worked. It didn't just stay here. Here, I'll start from higher. See, it happened. And I'm not just faking that. It's not like magic on the, magic or magnets. You know, how do they work? Who knows? But anyways, yeah, so that's gravity knives. Yeah, mind-blowing, I know, guys. This is why you come to my channel, for hard-hitting sorts of content that are really just over-the-top good. Actually, I wonder, I don't think that you can gravity knife the... Oh, no, there you go. You can gravity knife even the thigh lock. That's impressive. Maybe it was aliens. Oh, yeah, it's probably aliens. Let's be real here. Let's see here. Your OTF identifies as a slip joint. You know, let me know how that one works, unfortunately. I don't see that happening. Let's see here. What was the mini knife's name? I have no idea which mini knife you're talking about. Probably this little guy? The Rike Hummingbird? Very interesting little piece here, because it looks like a freaking hummingbird, although it doesn't have the thing that you hear with the real hummers. But there you go. It's like super exciting. Like, for some reason, the knife world, like a bunch of YouTubers, a bunch of Instagrammers have picked these up recently. And so the entire knife world is like seriously, seriously excited about this. And I haven't seen that many people excited about a hummer since the Bill Clinton presidency. Oh, bazam. All right, moving back along. So, yeah, you're probably talking about the Rike Hummingbird, or maybe this little guy right here. This is the 0 hour, 0 hour. Maybe it's got a name, probably doesn't, but there you go. 0 hour, 0 hour, it says 35 VM, etc. Yeah, that wasn't a great joke, I understand that. EDC that Hummingbird or the 0 hour, yeah, I absolutely will, actually. Both of these are knives that I'm going to try and take seriously. I don't know that I own pants that I can EDC this in, and this will be a little bit of a challenge, but the clip isn't bad on it. This is actually not a bad knife, just at a scale that's kind of a little crazy. Great detent on this. I mean, how's the action? Okay, it's not exactly false shutty, but the blade weighs like nothing, so yeah, that's a factor in it all. I mean, this is not a bad knife design, even at this size. Little huge, but, you know, pretty decent. Let's see here. Doesn't it come with a neck knife sheath? It does indeed. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm already all set for a neck knife, so I'm sorry, guys. I can't do that. You gotta... One knife for one purpose, you know? Only the skinniest jeans will work for carry. Indeed. Yes, indeed. I am often envious of yoga pants, because it's like, oh, this would work with any pocket clip. I could stop complaining about pocket clips freaking forever. But I've always joked that Olamic should sell yoga pants with the swish here, because that clip definitely requires them. Hey, I'm not showing you the side angle. That's weird. Yeah, I'll show that off in a video where I can get full quality, because it really is a thing. South by asks, how do you feel about Schrade knives? So Schrade is a company that makes a lot of money selling very inexpensive knives. They're not, unfortunately, very good. I mean, they will cut things, yes, and in some cases they are better than, the Yarusa design sort of things like this eye, although this has got something. But they don't tend to be very good. The steels don't tend to be very good. The quality doesn't seem to be very good. The action, generally when I see a person with a Schrade knife, my first thought is, oh, that's a shame because you could have paid about the same amount for something that is better. And one of the things that I'm really hoping to do one of these days here, and right now I'm using it as a Patreon incentive, is I'm going to do the battle of the inexpensive knives. Try and find the very best knife under 15 bucks or so, such that people who would have otherwise bought a Schrade might look at that and think, oh, hey, there are some great options here for you. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Mozjaws, for the donation there. So, fixed blades, mind you, are usually, so Muse1 says, the fixed blades are great beater tools. A fixed blade knife, there is a lot less that can really go wrong with it. Generally speaking, they're less expensive to make, so a lot of companies, a cheap fixed blade will be usually cheaper, will be of slightly better quality than a cheap folder. And a fixed blade doesn't become unsafe unless the steel itself is, or the handle is not. So I don't tend to be as picky about fixed blades. If you're going to baton something through a freaking stump, it doesn't really matter if it's super, super high quality. It'll help, absolutely. And I'm not saying that fixed blades don't need to be, quality fixed blades aren't a thing. But generally speaking, you can get a very, very inexpensive fixed blade that will cover all your needs, like a Mora or something like that. So, they're making bad fixed blades now? Oh, that's the shame. Unfortunately, that's been the case with a lot of knives, a lot of companies, that is. Camillus used to be a great maker of American cutlery. Then their brand got bought out, so Zombie Camillus now makes Chinese-made crap. And so that's really a shame. I'm not a big fan of that whatsoever. I mean, it's a part of, I guess, the system. You can sell the name, but that's not great. And so a lot of people who grew up thinking, oh, wow, like Gerber's another great example of this. Gerber was bought out by, I think, Fiskars, the scissors people. This is scissors, by the way, as opposed to rock and paper. But anyways, the scissors people, Fiskars bought them out, and then suddenly their quality tanked because they were trying to make really cheap crap that doesn't appeal to knife snobs, but appeals because Gerber used to be an incredible company. And so very often this will happen. Companies will just take a complete nosedive, either whether due to new management, whether due to just a change in standards, a change in approach. All of those things are very important. But unfortunately, that can definitely happen. And Schrade, Gerber has gone that route. Camillus, I'm trying to think who else has gone that route. Yeah. Not to diss on Fiskars, they make nice stuff, not knives. Yes, this is true. Fiskars can make fine scissors or rolling cutters. That's rolling cutter, by the way. Yeah. So, let's see here. People are asking about the Spyderco price jump, particularly on the Shaman. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about price jumps lately, honestly. The Spyderco Shaman has gone from $140 to like $180. And that's coupled with an increase in map pricing. Take a look at my Knife Gripes on Knife News series. Go to knifenews.com to see that, where I talk and explain what map pricing is and then tell you why I really am not a huge fan. But they have mandatorily increased the price in the Shaman, and that's not great. It is a great knife, and I still maintain that even at $180, it is a world beater in that sort of how-to-use sort of thing. The only reason I don't have it here is that Frankie and Birdshot IV, have it at the moment on their channel. And so, it's a great knife. It's going to stick around, and I still recommend it at $180. But it goes from being just like this face-melting this face-melting value. Thank you, Christoph Haywood. From going there to being something, it's a great knife, but it's an expensive great knife. And that makes me worry that the sprint runs are going to be even crazier. Price increase is my fault. Oh, they're blaming me on it? Ah, come on, Bird. There are many, many price increases that are probably my fault. But, yeah. Actually, that's the other one I've been thinking about a lot lately. Is Grimsmo Knives has done a huge price increase across their lineup. This is Grimsmo Norseman here. It's a great knife, absolutely 100%. But this is a knife that at original retail price was $555. They have just sold a knife that is almost the same as this guy. It's got all the latest improvements, newer screws, things like that. The back screw is now flush, etc. I'm sure they've made some nice improvements to it, but the new version of this, same scales, same anodization, same everything, is now going for $925. That is a lot of freaking money. And so, it is absolutely the case that a knife can price itself out of gem territory. And that's unfortunate. And I really, really hate seeing manufacturers, especially smaller makers, buying into their own hype, so to speak, and raising their prices as a result. It's ugly and it's unfortunate, and unfortunately it doesn't tend to work out for people in the end. Yeah, that's a great point. The Shaman is definitely still a gem with its higher price, but it is very easy to price yourself out of gem. The Open L for $50 is not a gem. That's for damn sure. Sorry, water in here. So, other good questions here, or bad questions. I'll take them. Let's see here. What is my preferred place to sell knives? Me personally, I prefer selling on the Patreon. And in fact, that's one of the perks that all of my Patreon patrons get. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm shilling for myself, although technically if you're shilling for yourself, that's not shilling. Whatever, shilling like a villain over here. But one of the perks Patreon patrons get is that they get absolutely first shot at any gear that I want to sell. And so, there you go. Pretty much everything that I sell goes straight to Patreon, unless one of my local buddies or something really talks me out of it. They're almost always going to the Patreon, and frankly, I feel a little bad selling without it. So that's where I do most of my selling. That said, you can't sell on my Patreon because you're not me. But you're welcome to shill for me. Just saying, Ghostface Shiller, nice. So for me, I would recommend places like BadeForums or Reddit's Knife Swap, etc. Those are really great places actually to sell knives. I have a whole video on selling knives, which is good. Where do Patreon patrons sell their knives? I don't know. I've always assumed that they keep them in the permanent collection forever, and put them on the bedside table every night and tuck them in using little tiny sheets, like little sheets of paper. And they, lovingly stroke but I don't know. I don't know what Patreon patrons get up to with their knives. Actually, that gets borderline creepy. But yeah. So, that's a good one. BadeForums has gotten a slew of new users with no class. Unfortunately, the world is full of people with no class. As any of you who've read my comments section will notice. Actually, that's not true. I have better comments than most. That's great. Mostly because I ban people who are being asshats. Anyways. Let's see here. What would I do for new Patreon goals? So I currently have 2 goals set up. The first goal that I'll probably reach is the budget knife contest, where I will buy a bunch of knives under $15, maybe under 20. I'm not quite sure where I want to draw that line yet. But and then do like a bracket system, NCAA, whatnot. Is NCAA bracket? Yeah, that's March Madness, right? I don't freaking know. You can tell here, this is the sports expert right over here. But anyways, I'll do a bracket, and we will find, just as we did with the first budget knife champion, the very best cheap knife. Next thing is, at a certain point, I am going to 100%, $2,000 a month, which is absolutely insane. But I will commission a high-end Z-Hunter from a knife maker. I will have them recreate something in this vein, and then I will EDC that for a week and describe the travails in the entire process. Because I think that would be both really entertaining. I think it would be a really neat thing. And I may do something afterwards with it that will bring a little bit of joy and a little bit of good. So I've already talked to a couple of makers about this. I think Olamic is very game for that. But, we'll see who ends up doing that. But that would be a thing. Absolutely 100%. God, I'm now picturing the Grimsmos doing a Z-Hunter. That would be entertaining as hell. So, a high-end Z-Hunter complete with EDC is going to be a thing, potentially. So those are some other issues here. I'm going to leave the Z-Hunter on the screen just so we can stare into your soul. Because, yeah. And let's leave something actually attractive on the screen. Sorry, Z-Hunter. As I look for other questions here. Do I peel bananas from the top or from the bottom? I wasn't really aware that there was that option. So, yeah. Where's Robbie? Tactical Center Elite is asking. Robbie, of course, being the Z-Hunter that I EDC'd for the full week. You can tell this is the original Z-Hunter because it has no stop pin here. That came flying. This is the one that came from the local gas station. As opposed to my friend Robbie here. You can identify him based on this excellent sharpening job here. The $3.50 knife with a $50 sharpening job. So, yeah. This is Robbie. He is safe. He is around. He is living in a drawer at the moment, but that's okay. He's pretty happy there. He had a very embarrassing week there. Can I do videos on knife makers? Like, what do you think the best products are, what to watch out for? I can, and I've done that in the past. I've done like Nick's take on Spyderco, on ZT, Chris Reeve, etc. The problem is that knife makers change and evolve. You know, with my Chris Reeve video, a lot of the knives I've talked about, well, certainly one of them, their best knife, pardon me, is discontinued at this point. And similarly, Spyderco, I think in that video I still complained about the warranty. This is lightweight Mannix 2, by the way, which I'm going to go ahead and do a disassembly video on. That's been super requested. Anyways, I complained about the fact that disassembling the knife at that point in time. No, I'm not going to do a disassembly video on this because it's freaking pinned shut. Well, you learn something new every freaking day, don't you? Sorry, I literally just got this in a box this afternoon, put it on the table like, hey, disassembly time. And then just holding this like, wait a second. No, never mind. But anyways, this one you can't disassemble, but it's not because of the law, it's because of the freaking... But anyways, I still, those things get out of date very, very quickly, which is not super stellar. That much is for sure. And, you know, the other thing is past the point, it's really hard to put to kind of put my finger on one company. I can do it with companies like Chris Reeve, which is just, you know, the Shabazz company at this point, or ZT, which is, you know, High Speed Low Drag Incorporated. But, you know, a company like, for instance, E-Knives, a Kaiser, or something like that is a little bit harder because they do a lot of different things. I mean, there are many Kaisers out there. They do many different approaches. Spyderco, even Spyderco's odd in this sense because, you know, this is a company that makes the freaking man bug and the freaking Sleash buoy. I mean, these are very, very different things. And so, you know, to compare these two knives is a little bit weird. They both have a hole. There you go, case closed. And they're both nice knives, 100%. So that's something I definitely want to do more of, but it's hard just because companies aren't monolithic. So there you go. Let's see here. What is the best overall EDC knife for $100? Oh, that's tough. Maybe if the Delica in ZDP is under 100, that's probably my choice. Certainly the Dragonfly in ZDP is a great choice there. The Spyderco Native is, I believe, available in S35 VN for under 100. That's a really solid contender there. And you've got a bunch of stuff from the Chinese companies. The Kaiser Dukes, Kaiser Beglighter are under those ranges. Who else is under $100? Your Delica, obviously. Steel Wheel Cut Jack is not a bad choice, although you can get two of them for that price. And, I'm trying to think of some other options, but there are a lot of good knives at $100. Let's see here. S90V Native for $95. There you go. That's a pretty solid choice right there. Let's see here. What do we see? How many apples do I eat per day? Just enough to keep the doctor away. It wasn't even funny. What the heck? But no, probably, well, actually, I don't average more than one apple per day. It's usually, you know, 2 or 3 a week at best. Let's see here. Oh my God, the G&G Hawk Z-Hunter 2.0. I cannot imagine the lock that they would put on a Z-Hunter. It'd be like if you massage the forehead of the skull, the knife shuts. Something like that. Can I visit a knife factory? Maybe the Quartermaster Knife Factory. Well, in some cases, you got to speak the language. So that one probably wouldn't happen. But I would absolutely love to do that. And I have open invitations from a couple of different makers to do that. The problem is just finding the time. Unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately, very fortunately, I do have a day job. So it's not like I can just jet off to Idaho for a couple of weeks and visit Millet. I'd like to. Absolutely, I'd love to. But it's not something I can do. One of these days, the Grimsmos are like 2 hours away from me. So that's something I might try and pick up or pick up. It's not an object you can pick up. It's ephemeral. That is an experience I would like to pick up. But yeah, and then tactical center, schedule a time, take a vacation. That's true. However, vacation days are hard to come by. And if I was single and, had nobody's concerns but my own, I might, vacation in, Idaho and visit your millet or something like that. But, I think the fiance would be okay with some of that. We'd need to sweeten that deal a little bit. So yeah, Alex Elkier is asking me to do a flip. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Alrighty. Wow. Can't believe I pulled it off. Alrighty. So, there's your flip. Enjoy. So, back to the, sorry, that was pretty solid there. Bach River's in Michigan, yeah, but they're on the other, they're on the whole other side of Michigan. They're way up north, about probably 11 hours away from me or so. So, yeah, let's see here. Actually, guys, I am realizing that I should probably get going. But I very much appreciate everybody who stops in here and hope that this was interesting to you. I am really, really sorry that my crappy knives are getting more interesting, but at some level, neat. I'm always happy to see that. And, yeah, anyways, hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, everybody. Bye now.